First order of business is approval. Approval of September minutes. Because we didn't have the meeting in October, so we never approved the minutes. So do I have any comments or motions?
I'll motion to approve. I didn't see anything myself, but I'm sure Joe looks at it closer than I do.
Nope, I didn't see anything. They look good.
All right, so you're gonna second, Joe?
Yes, I will.
Okay, good. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we got the September minutes.
No, that's August.
No,
It's
September.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm
'Cause
sorry.
we didn't have a meeting in October to approve the September minutes.
Right. Well, then the ones I just read were the ones that you sent in your email was dated August 20th.
Whoops.
No, it's September 17th.
Yeah.
I thought it was
Did I
September.
send the wrong ones?
Well, I downloaded them, so I must have downloaded the wrong ones. Okay.
Okay.
So if Brian looked at them, we'll trust him then.
All right. We'll be on track for next time to approve November minutes. It won't be skipping a month. How about the budget, the treasurer report?
Okay. It looks like we spent some money. We have $14,587.19 available.
Joanne, how much is available in the meetings line?
500?
Yep, 500.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, in my report, everything as usual, everything I have to say is coming up in regular line items. We had 2 new adoption of trade names. You got those emails, NGE Services and Cosmic Crunch, and I don't know what either of them do.
That's what I was going to ask.
I get the papers in the mailbox, and if they don't ask, if Gail doesn't ask, we don't know. Sometimes they'll make a note. She might ask what they do. So, 2 new mystery businesses.
I'm intrigued what a Cosmic Crunch can be.
Yeah, I mean, it could be granola, it could be
Exercise?
it could be exercise, yes.
We talked about this before. How come we get the type of business that it is on the forms they fill out?
I don't know, like I said, it's a new state form.
Yeah,
And
I'm finding Cosmic Crunch looks like a freeze-dried candy company.
oh,
Interesting.
all right.
I didn't think
It's better
of
than
it.
exercise.
Good job, Andrew.
I'm just diving around over here.
Yeah, and Andrew's the marketing and search everything guy.
Can't we request, since we're our committee, can
Ju-
we request that the town clerk?
Joe, you're breaking up. You're breaking up pretty bad.
Oh, sorry. Never mind.
Yeah, I could talk to Gail again and see if there's something, maybe they'd make it a point to ask and make a note. It would be nice for us to know. Because I pass this off to TBA too, and Zach will sometimes contact the new businesses, just like Dan used to do. Plus, we can't tell people about them if we don't know what they do. Anyway, moving on. I don't know of any businesses that have closed or any more that have opened. Anybody?
Nothing I
Brian's,
can think of.
okay.
The Crossroads is off the market.
It's off the market?
Well, the restaurant, the list
Yeah.
has expired, so it's not active listing. It's just sort of tell you that right now.
Okay, and the business is still going. I see cars there. It looks like it's not doing too badly. I see Max is still boarded up.
Maybe they took off the listing expire. It's not an active listing anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I assume the building was for sale and not the business, but I don't know that.
Oh,
Just to,
whatever, that building is not for sale anymore.
just to pass along social media stuff, apparently the owner of Crossroads had her animals seized, and there's a lot of anti-Crossroads talk out there right now. So she might see some business difficulties if people start to stay away.
Well, I actually know some things, and I won't say it on record.
Hmm.
Because my son was a manager at Webster Water for years, and she's from Webster. So, but another time, I don't want anything on
Yeah,
record.
I'm just saying that there's things out there that can affect your business, and I don't
Yes.
know of anything other than that, whether there's any substance or what the deal is. But
Hmm.
as a business in Thompson, it might have some rough times ahead if people are going to start talking about it online negatively.
There was talk even as it was opening. So, but as far as the business itself, I think the restaurant, the food there was good. The people were nice. I don't have anything to say about the restaurant. It's the background story that, like you said, maybe an issue might be affecting it. Anyway, TBA membership, last I checked, which was today, the roster has 67. Business of the month was Growing Homes, Larry and Erica Grow. So they should be on the town hall sign.
Hey, Brian, do you know how many of those businesses are Thompson businesses versus, because I know there's Webster, there's Killingly, there's businesses from out of town that are on that roster.
Oh yeah, we even have Auburn Holiday Inn. I can look. I don't know offhand without checking specifically, but it could be around a third at least is out of town.
Hmm.
Well, like I told you, when we started this in 2011, it was to give Thompson businesses a boost because I found out we had over 500 businesses. Nobody knew that. Nobody could name more than 9 or 10. So when we started TBA, it was Thompson businesses only. Give you a boost, give you recognition, and they didn't join. As a rule, I had 120 names on a list, but they didn't go to meetings and there were no dues. So then
Well,
we
they didn't
opened it
join
up.
without dues, with dues or fees. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, so it was fine. They were on a mailing list and we did updates, but it wasn't until we formalized everything, started charging dues that the Thompson businesses just, you know, wouldn't respond. So we opened it up. And it made sense. We gave them a chance.
Hmm.
Well,
But I can check that for you.
you were up to about 80, weren't you, at one point about a year or two ago?
Yeah, it runs in cycles. We'll get people doing some networking and then they fall off the face of the earth and then we get new ones. We had last meeting last Wednesday was a mixer.
Hmm.
And yeah, we had I don't know 34, 35 people in that little triple Raven. So it was actually a nice turnout. We had some new people. Main Street Gelato came and they hadn't been before. We had a new woman who repairs commercial appliances, and she came 2 meetings in a row. And is going to join, but I don't think she's joined yet. So we're moving, and then we'll have our elections in January because Nick was stepping down whether he won or lost for a selectman. He's done it a couple of years, and he was going to, turn it over. So
That's good. I didn't know if that was a conflict. I know it's probably not in the bylaws, but just seems odd that the first selectman would be head of the business association.
It's not It's not a
he did
legal
couple
conflict
years.
of interest or
No, I
anything.
didn't think it was legal. It's just, and he's got plenty of other things to do learning the job, so.
Yeah, yeah, and he put a lot into the TBA. I mean, he was
Mhm.
good, just like Dan was good before him. So anyway, that's what I have for TBA. Still moving along. Next meeting is going to be at Main Street Gelato, they offered. So it's good that we move it around when we can. Um,
That December?
yes. Yeah. Um, Old business. I do want to, I put this reminder in because I keep forgetting to ask you, Tara. Um, I updated the flyer that we download for the
Mhm.
business street signs. And I asked Maria about posting it, and she said, "Oh, Tara does that."
I,
Um,
I can do it now. I'm now a full admin on the website, taking over as Renee is transitioning out. Uh, so stuff like that, just send me, 'cause as you guys know, I work out of email prompts.
yeah.
So if you send me a specific email saying, please do this thing, then I will do that thing in whatever order I receive it, and it'll be done.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to talk to you first because you do a lot, you have a lot going on. I didn't want to just slam you with it, but yeah, Kelly Janest had said the price from the sign company went up $5. So I changed the flyer. And that's all. We'll get that up there. So I'll get that over to you.
No worries.
Um, yeah, I threw on here. It's hard to believe October went by. So much happened in October. Figured we'd just touch on the community day wrap up, the career day wrap up. I forgot to write on Turkey Trot because I know Brian likes to update. So as far as a community day, it was successful. I missed the update meeting because Levency keeps sending mail to a non-existent email address. So I missed it, but you were probably there, Bri, right?
For Community Day?
For the wrap up?
Oh, the wrap up of Community Day? Yeah, there wasn't anything that I'm recalling that stood out.
Okay,
Uh,
usually we have some figures on how we did. He did tell
Yeah, he
me
had
that
the numbers. I don't recall what they were because I'm thinking more about Turkey Trot at that point.
yeah, probably. Yeah,
I
your
mean,
head's
he
on the
doesn't do it
turkeys.
to make money. It's for a community thing mostly. So the
Yeah,
numbers are kind of extraneous as long as they're not losing money, basically. We did, well, Tara was there too, I believe.
Yeah, I was
And
there all day.
you know, we no for the wrap up meeting. Uh,
Yeah, I was, but that's
yeah,
2 months ago. And as
yeah,
you point out, unless there's something like that's an outlier, unusually positive or unusually negative,
yeah. And
I don't
obviously
find that those wrap-ups are necessarily as
the car show
illuminating
was a big
as they could
positive
be.
there, Mr. Yacino. Great
well,
job.
he did tell me that that was one of the highlights, the
And
cruise in.
as always, we talk about the positioning of things and the PA system, which was kind of hard to hear for everyone. And
When I met him, I talked about the PA because we had Zach Labonte getting Business of the Year. He was only 2 tables away, and when I went
yeah,
over to talk to him, I couldn't
you
hear
hear
the PA.
it.
But that would be something. It's not just Community Day; it'd benefit any of our activities downtown. But okay, so if there's no outliers, nothing majorly good or bad, that's probably good. Um, yeah, Career Day, I did attend the Turlock Career Day, and that is something that a lot of our businesses would probably benefit from attending, but it went well. They gave us lunch. They had a good amount of businesses. They had me set up in 2 spots to talk to the kids. That was a little bit of a challenge,
Hmm.
but looking forward to next year, actually.
Yeah, I've
And
always thought about whether or not I could or should go to that, but as a career in retail, and not really much of a career as teaching. I didn't know if that would be something that they needed in that.
Well, you have to decide the way I look at it and the way because I kind of liaison to the pathways. The way I look at it is a lot of these kids, especially in small towns, they don't know what they want to do, don't necessarily want to go to college. They don't want to get in debt and end up just working at McDonald's.
Mhm.
So a lot of the things set up, you can show them that there's other opportunities without going $500,000 in debt
Mhm.
and without being stuck. So they were a few of the kids, not many, but a few of them were really interested in my BTEC working with the car interiors.
Yeah.
They like to work with their hands. They're not really excited about school. They might like cars. Then I spent time in the music room, um, talking about opportunities where they
Oh,
could
yeah.
actually make money, do a career, or just for fun because you love music, but you want to be a veterinarian. So
And I mean, that's something that, yeah, that maybe I should consider, because again, Walmart's been out there specifically as being one of the, if you were successful and made it to store manager, as one of the highest paying jobs you could get without a college degree. So,
yeah,
I mean, it is an option for kids that don't want to go to college. Better if they still got a degree, but yeah, it's still an option.
yeah. But it just to keep it, in that vein, it could help the kids. It could help the town, because we're kind of an entrepreneurial town, not a lot of storefronts.
Hmm.
And that new building thing with smaller footprint storefronts, some of these businesses might end up using that. I think it's a great opportunity with smaller, what do you say, 900 square foot storefronts.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But anyway, would you like to update on Turkey Trot?
Um, that all depends on whether the villagers listening in, because they always do an article based on my input. I'd rather do more detailed input at the Trails meeting in a couple weeks. I will say just briefly here, if the villager is going to listen to this recording, that I was particularly proud of this year's performance. I almost feel like this was peak turkey trot. The weather was outstanding. I don't think you couldn't ask for a better fall day to run the race, and the rain came after everyone was gone and we had
Yeah.
cleaned up. So it was warm. That was perfect. We missed our record number of pre-registration of registered runners, not pre-registrations, overall registered runners by one. We had
Oh,
198 in 2012. We had dropped as low as 112 in around 14 or 15 before I was involved. And this year we had 197. We missed by one. And yes, we had a record amount of sponsorships. I do not have the final numbers after expenses. We think we're going to be very close to dividing up $7,000 each for the three organizations, an increase of over $1,000 from last year. But those are just preliminary numbers based on my sponsorship total, which was 20,500 or so. And see, Andrew, I was worried when you first came on. And look, we had made it happen. I'm
You did.
just thrilled with the response from businesses. So there are at least, I think, 3 new sponsors that came on board for $500. Robert Letzkus came in at 750. So we actually lost about 10 sponsors from last year, but we made up for that and added another 3,000.
great. So I'm sure Todd's listening intently to this too. Um, okay. The only new business item is we have to vote and approve the schedule for next year. So if everybody looked at that, I don't see it falling or any of them falling on any holidays or uh, days that the town hall would be closed. The only one, Wednesday, December 16th, I will not be available. I'm actually working that day, or that night. So
Usually if
have-
there's an interruption, it's town related, a town meeting, a referendum. I mean, all
Yeah.
you can do is come out with your usual schedule, and then when things come up, we deal with it.
yeah, it's just unless somebody had an issue saying it's too close to a holiday or, whatever. Um, we can just approve the whole schedule and somebody can pinch hit next December.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve it.
Do we have a
Second.
second? Joe?
I'll do it.
All right, Joanne does it.
We're
All
loud
in
enough,
favor?
Andrew.
Huh? Say that again?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so I'll get this off to Gail. And we'll be set for next year. It has to be in by December 1st, I think. She reminded me, but I told her I was waiting for the meeting since we didn't have one in October. All right, now we're up to the progress reports for, we can go with Todd. Robert's not on, right? But we have
Yeah,
Todd.
he said he had a meeting to attend
Oh, that's right.
regarding one of his other projects in Hamden, I think.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I did see that. So we can update plan for marketing revitalization. One item when we get to that brochure that Todd had done for us. Last month, or in September, we had approved up to $300 for printing, and we had an online vote. Once I got the quotes, or once Todd and I had both gotten quotes, and we voted online to go with the 580 for 200 copies. And we probably should formalize that on record. Not sure how to do that, but right, Kira, there probably should be formalized somehow.
Uh, well, since the vote was unanimous via email, I think all you really need to do is, I would just include it in this as a note in your meeting minutes, and then
Okay.
maybe forward that vote to Lynn to record the
Yeah, and
email
she knows, she
responses
was
that
in
you got.
on that email, so she knows about it.
Right. So I do have it and I did print it off, but I didn't know if there was something I had to do with it or if we had to say something tonight. And I think if I just put, like Tara said, I think if I just put on the notes that an online vote took place on September, and I'll put the date, and
Yeah.
all members voted and it was unanimous.
Okay, as long as we're covered, that's why I just at least wanted to bring it up and thank Todd, because that was nice. We did have it out at Community Day. I carry one in my truck in case anybody asks for one. And we can put them in our clerk's office and, whatever, but it did come out really nice. Okay. On with the rest of the update. What do you have, Todd? Anything?
Sure. I'm going to just share an updated report with you guys, since the one that was distributed with your agenda was written in advance of the October date. So just
Right.
to quickly recap, October, starting with publicizing the 630 Riverside project, we did several news releases and coordinated social posts prior to and following the two events on October 1st and October 8th. I got pretty good coverage in addition to WINY. It was in the Hartford Courant. It was in the Hartford Business Journal. A number of the social groups posted about it as well too, Quiet Corner, etc. In terms of making contacts with business owners to write success stories, I talked to, in the last month, Wayne from Smokes on Spokes, who wants to wait until he's fully open. And just as of last week, the article was finalized on Main Street Gelato. Sylvie and Jared were happy with that and are going to send me some photos. Tara, I know you're looking for photos as well too. If I don't hear back from her tomorrow or Friday, I'll ask again, or we can just pull from the website or the social profiles.
That works.
Okay. We finally got some contacts from the TBA, and we're able to get the first quarterly issue out on the EDC e-newsletter that was sent out on October 21st. And I'm just thinking as we're going through the meetings, like I should have checked the stats on that to be able to report to you, like number of people who received, opened, responded, et cetera. I will do that in advance of the next meeting. But one's out. So it included some, if you didn't see it, some commercial property listings. It included some information on business of the year, et cetera. We did put out a business of the month story on Arbor Active that was in that last month, and social posts were up as well too. Again, if you guys want to make recommendations for who do you think we should profile? The next business of the month would probably be Main Street Gelato in coordination with getting their story up on the website. But I can just keep, throwing out people I should talk to, and I'll get those in the pipeline as well too. Community
Well,
day.
Larry and Erica Grow, who, they're on the sign from TBA. They are Thompson residents and a Thompson business. They actually, between the two of them, they own several small businesses, but the Growing Homes, GRHO, that's their last name, Growing Homes, is the one that's featured. And so they're house rehabbers and flippers.
Oh, okay.
And he does taxes, and they own 2 locations for Nikki's Dog House, but they're out of town, the hot dog places. But yeah, they'd be a good ones. And she's a former teacher, and they'd be good ones to talk to.
Okay. Would somebody like to make the introduction, or you just want me to cold contact them? I can get their information from their website.
Brian, you want to link them up together?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, you guys recapped Community Day. We talked about the brochures being available and the outcome on that, and the Career Day. We put a social post out in advance of Turkey Trot as well. Upcoming events, December 3rd, we had talked about publicizing the Ask Me Anything open house drop-in. Is that still on schedule?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So again, I'm very predictable. I do everything out of my email. So Todd, if you drop me an email prompt, I'll get you what I've put together tomorrow. I think I've actually sent you possibly the internal press release stuff we did, but if I didn't,
Okay.
I will. And we made a little flyer, silly little flyer, but
Yeah, we had that in the
we're trying to
newsletter,
trying to
right.
push that pretty hard for the next 3 weeks. And it is relevant to EDC in that because it's a part of the America 250, and making that connection between residents and the forms and functions of local government. I mean, that has economic development implications too. How do we learn about the EDC? How do we learn about the Thompson Business Association? What kinds of incentives might be available for somebody coming in with a development, that kind of thing. So
Yes,
Yeah,
I remember I do have copy on that because we did put that in the newsletter. So I'll look for that, and I'll run it
Okay.
by you just to make sure it's still on target.
What time is the
Okay.
Ask Me Anything event taking place?
I'm sorry, Andrew, what?
Well, what time is the Ask Me Anything taking place?
The formal part of the event is 6 to 8, and then from 5 to 6, we're having sort of social hour drop in for pizza and snacks, and everybody get relaxed before they start asking their questions. We've done this before. It's very free form.
Okay.
But we definitely also want good resident participation, because if the people sitting there to answer questions outnumber the people who show up to ask the questions, that's a limited effectiveness event.
Yeah. Nick was on WINY talking about all kinds of things, including that. He was pushing that for people who want to know what's going on in town and ask about the mill projects. And So hopefully people see that too, because yeah, they can just ask and say, how's the Belding Mill going? How's 929 going?
Yeah. And then if it is successful, which of course we hope it is, then we'll have a few weeks to try to put together that Citizens Academy, which is what we wanted to do last time, but then COVID scuttled that. So I've got a little project group um, to work on that afterwards.
Okay. Anything else that you should put on my radar? Is there anything for follow-up on 630 Riverside that's public information at this point, or is Robert just kind of doing his thing in terms of?
Well, he's definitely kind of doing his thing.
Yeah.
He did make a deposit payment on the tax lien which enabled us to actually sign it over to him. The deposit that was articulated, so he paid 10 grand against the full arrears, which off the top of my head was like 65 grand, and he'll close the rest of that out when he takes title. He's working on the friendly foreclosure. And he's stated all those things in multiple
Mhm.
public meetings. So the stuff that's otherwise going on isn't super charismatic.
Right.
Like it's going through the foreclosure process, and he and I think we had 2 calls that we were on this week, or we were on with DECD earlier in the week to talk about his options with the Brownfield Grant Program. Um, but my feeling is that there probably won't be much that's super exciting until he actually finishes that foreclosure and takes title. But he'll probably be in this meeting in December.
Okay.
Just couldn't be here tonight, so he can let you know more conclusively at that point, I think, what he might want to promote about the project going forward.
Yeah, that was my thought. He kind of garnered the public support, but the public, if they don't see something happening in a reasonable time frame, they'll think it's stalled or off the table. So
Yeah, well, so far we're well within all of the stated
right.
timeline parameters. Like he at the public information meeting, he said he thought 6 to 8 months for the friendly foreclosure. So we're well within that.
Right.
If it starts to stretch out there and there's complicating factors, then we might want to sort of reopen it in a positive press kind of way specifically. But definitely once he takes title, I think we should be getting excited about that, because that's when I'm going to start trotting him around to like the Northeast CID meetings and introducing him to people who might help him get tenants in those in the commercial spaces.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a good idea to maybe even proactively put a proposed timeline out that just kind of gives the milestone or the sort of tentpole type events that people would expect to see. Particularly if it's a process that's going to be multiple years. I don't know overall. I don't have that top of mind, but I know winter's coming now too, and at some point, it would be worth the investment just to put a sign out front that has the rendering and some sort of a coming soon message or whatever.
Yeah.
Just again to remind people that this is coming online. So we
Yeah,
can talk
that's
more
a
in the
good thought.
December meeting. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else before December that you want to have me work on?
Well, we do have Friday, December 5th, we have the Festival of Trees, which also is going to have a Santa, a bonfire, food trucks. The bonfire is an annual event. Festival of Trees is recent, but it's something going on in Thompson. It's December 5th, 4 to 8
Who's the
p.m.
presenter on that?
That's Thompson Rec is
Thompson Rec. Okay.
doing the work.
So I had actually kind of forgotten about that. And I think they're doing a winter market on the Saturday.
The
So
following
that
day,
actually
yes.
makes a little chain of events from the
Right.
Ask Me Anything to the town meeting to vote on the fire district on the 4th, to the
Yeah.
Festival of Trees, to the winter market on the 5th. Now, I would say most of that information is internal Thompson information. So in some ways, an awkward fit in the EDC newsletter, but maybe there's an angle there. Let's bat that around tomorrow or Friday, Todd.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean,
The Saturday
the-
event is a Christmas open market, you said?
Yes, they used to. So it's a relatively young event that they cooked up in rec. I think this would be the 3rd year. And
yeah, this will be the third year.
the first 2 years, they ran one big event, where they were trying to make it one big event. Uh, they had the Festival of Trees in the library, and horse carriage rides, and a bonfire at Duhamel Pond, and then vendors. But the library wouldn't let the vendors be indoors, so they were outdoors in the dark at night. The first year it snowed and it was kind of charming in a way, but last year it was just cold. And I think that people aren't super stoked about being outside in the dark and the cold. So they've sort of split it into 2 little events. I'm not really directly involved in it, although I sat in on the planning meetings for the first 2 years. I think they're still trying to really gel their format. The trees thing I think works fine. It's, people donate trees and then people come in and bid on them or whatever. They raffle them off. And it raises a little money for rec and the Thompson seniors. Um, yeah, that, and part of the reason we should bat it around, not in this meeting, is I don't actually know how they're formatting anything. Yacino, do you know? Are you involved in that directly this year?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of details yet, except I know that the Friday thing, which is the one I'll help most with, we'll have the trees. You'll be able to set up the trees because people donate the stuff, then we decorate them. Usually they're themed. Um, Last year there was a Taylor Swift tree that went well, and EDC will sometimes do one, TBA will do one. So that'll go on inside, and it's just going to be an evening event this year. So, well, most of the action will be down at Duhamel Pond for the bonfire and the food trucks. Santa will be in the library where kids can sit with them. And the Friday thing, the Saturday thing, the market, I don't have a lot of info on because I can't make it on the first Saturday of any December.
I know
I know,
the market is gonna go 10 to 2, and it's at the Thompson Middle School. And I do know that they've got there's quite a few vendors registered. Because I'm recording secretary for the rec commission too.
Oh, okay.
So, and Brian had said that they were just about full for the vendors that they could fit in that area. But it's
Yeah.
10 to 2 Saturday at the Thompson Middle School.
Okay, great. Thank you. So there we have it. Yeah, and I don't have anything else listed for coming up other than, the Ask Me Anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I think all this is good to, even though it may not be directly beneficial to the businesses in terms of getting their participation directly. It just shows a lot of activity happening, and a lot of involvement with residents and businesses to some extent. But I think if someone is considering bringing a business to town, this is the kind of stuff they want to see, and that reinforces, the demographics, if you will. So yeah, it's part of the placemaking, I think is what they call it in economic development terms.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I could
And
see
for the
this being
Festival of
useful.
for the Festival of Trees, it is a business sponsorship
Mhm.
opportunity.
Right. So we'll find the angles for that.
Yeah, and for the Ask Me Anything, again, if we're gonna have an angle of approach that fits with EDC, are you curious about opening a business? Are you curious about what it would take to get something permitted or approved? Do you know who your town leaders are? So there's your angle of approach.
Mhm.
But not only that, what I get, even when I go to the transfer station, I get questions, what are we doing to attract business? Well, we're doing this, and we're doing the building development and the 929 development. So there's a lot of stuff that we are doing, and that's what people are asking. So they'll be able to say, how's it going? How are we doing with the building and the infrastructure and, whatever. Hmm.
I think that's my report.
Well, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Todd.
Welcome.
Um, okay. Do we want any more comments on that, our marketing? No,
I
I
was
guess
gonna,
not.
Yeah, I'm good.
I was going to make one, and that is now that I think Tira's becoming the webmaster, some of the stuff on your official page on the town website needs to be updated, right? Your business of the year and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm not the webmaster. Let me be clear.
I
I'm
didn't mean to
just,
put, I didn't mean to put
yeah,
that upon you.
yeah. I'm one of two full admins.
Right. Okay.
Marie would be more of the true admin, but to take some things off her plate, if anybody from any of the commissions that I work with specifically has changes that need to be made, I would say don't bother Marie, send them to me. Uh, and then there might be some other things that are more appropriate for me to do than for her. But if you have a list like that, Todd, go ahead and send that to me as well. Anybody
Yeah, I'll
can
go
send me
through it. And
anything.
I also have access. So for example, we put up the button that drives people to the EDC's web page.
Right.
So we can make some of the changes too. I just didn't want to have at it without getting permission, you know.
Yes, and that may be a more efficient way for us to discuss that stuff too. The stuff that's specific to your mission, since you have access. Um, just do a touch base, make sure we agree that the things are the same,
Mhm.
that we have the same feeling on that, and then have at it. But if it's little quotidian changes, oh, this piece of data is wrong, or this needs to be, or this link is broken, then yeah, send that to me and I'll fix it.
Okay.
Okay. Um, the next thing we have on the agenda is the grant application updates. You probably don't have much, Tira, but
Not much. I mean, we still don't have the two big contracts. I ran into Melinda Wilson, who is the program director for the SIF grant, and mentioned to her that I still don't have a contract to sign. Um, Last week ahead of MISRAC, we've been assigned an attorney, which is great. So I followed up to, see if we could get that in hand before the end of the calendar year. Um, and I haven't had an update since then, but I'll pester them again early to mid-December. Um, we have had, I think I've mentioned, an environmental consultant who did supplemental testing in the big mill. He's putting together the action plan for the remediation. I still don't have that contract signed, but there's like 2 or 3 pesky documents that we just can't seem to close with the developer. Um, not worth going into here. Uh, some of it is frustrating because the documents have already been provided, but because there's such a long time lapse between when we get them to them and when DECD is able to move on it, that they consider the documents to be stale, and then we have to send them like it's crazy. But then there are some other things. There's one piece that's on us to complete now, which I'm working on with the attorney. And yeah, one piece for us to complete, two pieces for the developer to complete. And then theoretically, there's nothing stopping us from getting the contract and signing it. But I'm accruing expenses, so I'm hoping that this is gonna resolve itself soon. It does appear likely that I'll be writing at least one and possibly two quick turnaround grants between now and mid-December. Lafredo will know. Karen Durlack sent me some messages about writing another recreational trails grant to maybe get some stone dust down on the airline trail. About, I think they were proposing about 3 miles worth. Trails, I guess, thinks they have enough money in their account, which is non-taxpayer dollars, to fund the 20% match. If they can get me enough detail on that, I'll bang that one out. That shouldn't be too difficult, as long as I can get the appropriate documentation. And then
With this year's turkey trot money, we will, I think, have close to 20,000 in our account. The estimate delivered on the stone dust for just the areas we were looking at, where we left off last time, Lowell Davis, through to the train wreck park, but not all the way to Massachusetts, was only going to be about 12,000 for the stone dust. So if the grant can come into play, we can consider going all the way to the Mass line and maybe doing a couple extra inches on what was already stone dusted so that we could do the whole trail in the town if what we have can leverage enough money in the grant, if we won the grant. Obviously, there's a lot of ifs, and the biggest one is, as you know, getting someone to actually do the work, because that would be the part that we can't account for.
yeah, so if you have $20,000, and let's assume for a moment, and I'm not suggesting you should spend your entire account on this, but let's assume, just because the math is easy, that you're putting in the full $20,000 as your proposed match. That nets you another 80,000. So that would cover a lot of labor. But you need to have a real estimate. That's the thing that's going to kill you, is you've got to get a real estimate, and you've got to be able to rely that it's accurate, because the most you're going to get is 80 against 20. But we'll talk about that on the first. So that's one. And then the other one, and Lafredo will also have heard this because he's on MISRAC now. Last week, DPW director and I sat in on a presentation from a student team with Yukon Clear, which is an environmental engineering program, essentially, that they offer to propose green stormwater infrastructure on municipal properties. They showed us projects in 3 locations: the library, town hall, and the school campus. The work they're suggesting in the library, we can probably fold into the existing grant that Eastern Connecticut Conservation District applied for and was awarded on our behalf. That would be a rain garden in the area where they're going to do some pervious pavers around the library and rip out those invasive barberries. So we would replace the barberries with the rain garden. That can be bundled into that. But in that presentation, they called our attention to a CT Deep zero match program that would pay theoretically for design, engineering, and construction of the remaining measures. So that would be a green roof on the flat roof section at Town Hall, and a series of rain gardens and detention areas up in relation to the school parking lots. I'm probably going to move forward with that too. Shouldn't be a very difficult one to put together. Janet Blanchette said she would help me with the estimates. And both of those would be due around the same time, second week, maybe third week of December. But they're not super complicated ones like the SIF grant or the Brownfield grant. And, and who knows if we get them. I've been purposefully not looking for extra grants to write until I have the two big grant contracts resolved, signed and off to the races. And the last piece is we did get two bids opened last night for the additional architectural design services at 65 Main. That will be covered by the SIF grant. I got the okay to go out to bid for it while we're waiting for the contract to be finalized. We got two bids. Santos and I will go over those, although I can tell you I already know who we're going to award it to because the difference in cost is pretty major, and the low bidder is also the incumbent on the project who did the original design. So there's not really much question where we're going to go with it, but we still formally have to sit down, do a bid leveling on the two proposals, send it to DECD for their approval, and then we can make the recommendation to award. So that'll start to move forward too, at least with the design while we're waiting on the other stuff. That's what I got.
Okay. Next, what do you have for real estate, Joe?
Okay. We're pretty level constantly. We still have 8 residential properties for sale. I know we're supposed to be talking commercial, but I always throw in the residential. And out of those
Yeah, that's fine.
residential, in the past 2 months, there have been 14 sales of residential. And presently, the commercial properties just are the same that we've had for months and months. 1 business for sale, 3 commercial properties for sale, 1 expired listing, Crossroads, like I mentioned, and there are 4 business leases in town. So not much happening in the commercial world.
Yeah, and now we're coming into a slower season, right?
Correct. Yeah. I mean, not much happens, in November and December for sure, but nothing in the commercial side is moving. Well, what's for sale is just to remind everybody the Riverside Drive, where it used to be the old DNR masonry.
Yeah.
That's for sale. Well, that came back on the market. Remember, it just closed, and then
Yeah, we talked about that in September.
yeah, right. Well, so that's active. The KFC. No, not the
Yeah.
KFC. Well, what
Yeah.
was it?
Yeah.
Crafters.
Okay.
Well,
was
yeah,
it?
but it's the Knights of Columbus. You're right.
Yeah. Knights of Columbus. That's still for sale, and of course, 4Gs is still for sale.
You mean G7?
P7.
I'm sorry, I saw the G's. I was
Yeah.
thinking of Ford and Killingly. Yes, the G7. Yes, correct. The business is for sale and the property is for sale.
Right. Now, did Thomas Mill get sold?
Oh yeah, that got sold back in September, August. Yeah, I did mention it a couple months ago. Yeah, that
Yeah, you
took a
might
while.
have. But
Yeah, because I think we mentioned how we thought. Yeah, that did close a couple months ago.
yeah, I
Joe,
couldn't remember. I just
emailed-
noticed the sign was down.
I got an email from Redfin showing 13 residential properties in Thompson for sale right now.
You got an email from who?
It's called Redfin. It's like Realtor.com. It's I
Oh.
might be getting the name wrong, whatever it is, but it showed
Somebody
13
sent you.
properties.
Yeah, no, well, I got 14, so.
Oh, you
As of
got
this-
14 residential? Okay, I thought you said 8. So
Oh, no. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. I was 14 sales, but yes, there are only 8 active listings.
no,
in residential.
it showed 13 active listings right now. And the property down my street, which is a wooded lot that had been approved for subdivision,
That's
is a
interesting.
pending sale at 0 Lowell Davis.
Well,
So
I'm not
we get-
accepting land listings, Brian. I never
No,
do.
that I didn't count land. That's just houses, 13.
Well, is that Redfin, is that current?
Yeah.
No, it's not my MLS. I mean, I go by what I currently see that is for sale that's recorded. Redfin is a company that, I don't know. If you want to tell me these addresses, I can compare them. We don't have to take up the time now, but
Yeah.
I don't Redfin,
Yeah,
and I don't.
Redfin
that
may
web-
not update as often as
Well, they don't. They don't. They do not, and that's the trouble. There might be some souls that are still active, and that's the trouble with even Realtor.com, Zillow. People look at those websites and they think that's accurate, and they are not.
yeah.
My MLS
Yeah.
is extremely accurate. So I will stick with my 8 active listings.
Okay.
and it's not bad to mention it, Joe. You were saying, we're supposed to do commercial, but if somebody was looking to start a business in town, they also may want to live in town.
That's right.
It doesn't hurt to have a picture of what's available.
Yeah. And unfortunately, out of those 8 actives, there's 1 mobile home, 1 waterfront island for part of an island for sale, and 6 residences. That's it. That's all that's for sale.
Well, that's good. We get out of the having a glut of homes.
Mm-hmm.
That's not
I
bad.
mean, and there were some sales recently, so that could be what that website that Brian's looking at. They probably haven't been notified, or they haven't corrected their inventory yet, because there were some recent sales in Thompson.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, the next I have a list of upcoming events. You saw I actually added after I mailed the agenda. We have Ask Me Anything on December 3rd. We have the Festival of Trees. We have the event the next day with the vendors setups. And I did send an email for Freedom of Information training. Got that from the Selectman's office. If anyone is interested, it's December 10th. And we did, EDC did host one of those before. It was quite a while ago now. We hosted it here in town. So if anyone is interested, you have the email and you can sign up.
Brian, how was that past event?
It was okay. I mean, it didn't take all night. It was pretty informative. It had to be 8 or 9 years ago.
Okay.
We had it in the
Actually,
community center.
I think it was probably 7 years ago, because I think I went to it. So that would have been
Okay.
the year before I came on staff.
All right. But
And so what, and during the meeting, the premise is that they help you understand what information you can apply for and how to apply for it?
So the FOIA training is relevant, particularly for municipal staff and volunteers, commission board members, because you may, and it's less likely to be relevant to EDC specifically. There's some boards where it's super relevant. Are you likely to see a Freedom of Information Act request for information related to any of your activities or meetings? And
Okay.
what are you required to provide? What are the timelines? What are the hazards? By way of example, if you're using your personal email to receive town communication, you can be FOIA'd for stuff out of your personal email. Same thing with text messages. If you're using a personal cell phone to send and receive text messages related to town business, those communications can be legally requested. In a really hostile situation, and this doesn't come up very often, I'm pretty sure they can actually require you to turn in your device so that it can be verified that you've provided everything. Usually, it's never gone that far that I've been aware of, but I believe that that is an eventual possible consequence. What makes an illegal meeting? That's something that's actually very relevant to volunteer commissioners. Again, not so much for this commission because you're not a regulatory body or a policy setting body. You're mostly advisory, although you do have a budget of your own. But if you are a member of one of the big four, and this is a particular hazard for planning and zoning, actually, if there's an application that is on an agenda and some member of the public is under the impression that members of the commission have been communicating about it, not in public meetings, but via private emails or text threads, that can be prejudicial information. It can render an application or a denial or an approval subject to appeal and overturn, and those communications would be foiable. So again, less important for this commission in some ways because you don't do the kinds of things that people generally are going to try to challenge or appeal. But the same things do hold true for you that would hold true for any of the sort of more sensitive boards. I try to tell the planning and zoning commissioners to think of it this way. When you're not in front of the microphone and the camera on behalf of the commission doesn't exist.
Yep.
Right? You only exist when you're in the public eye. And if you're not in the public eye, then you have to behave as if you have no knowledge of or opinions on anything that could be coming up for your consideration.
Sarah,
Yes?
who do I contact about reactivating my town email? It hasn't worked in
Marie.
a couple of years. Marie? Now that I have both ZBA and BAA, I'm probably more subjected to regulatory stuff.
Well, both of those boards, because yes, you do make decisions. You know, you hear applications and you make decisions on behalf of the public. I would say you would be best off to have a town email to do that business. But the reason a lot of people don't have the town emails is for whatever reason, when they first set that system up, people were not getting their emails. I had that problem when I was a volunteer commissioner before I was staff and had a staff email. I had a Thompson email. I never got a single email from it.
Yeah, they
So-
they had an email for us and then they changed over, and which worked a little while, and then they just kind of canceled half of the emails, including mine. So it actually didn't exist, even if they could type it in, but it wasn't real. So most of us on the commission just went with our private emails, but we were aware of the situation because of that FOIA meeting. We're more careful with non-meetings and discussing business stuff, out of the actual meeting and making sure we have a quorum. If we don't have a quorum, we just cancel.
Well, if you don't, and actually, you don't have to cancel a meeting without
Well,
a
if there's
quorum.
anything to vote on, we cancel.
Correct. You can't take actions. You can
Right.
discuss whatever you want, but you can't take any actions or votes without a quorum to fulfill that requirement.
Right. But yeah, and Andrew, if you are able to ask questions, if you need information to suit, your circumstances or whatever, they're open to essentially asking anything that would apply.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty familiar with the process. I'm just curious what the training was going to expose or inform us of. That's all.
Yeah, and this, may be different than what we had 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah.
I really don't remember much of it. It's just that in practice, we were thinking more like our emails, like Tira said,
Mhm.
your private emails would be subject to um, a search if it came up, but we didn't see it as a big issue with EDC.
Right, right.
But yeah, that came across from the selectman's office. Figured I'd let everyone know. And Dan was asking if there was something he could refer to after, and I don't think so. But because he can't make it, he'll be away. Um, so that's it. I mean, we're up to citizen comments pertaining to agenda items, and we have um, nobody but Todd, who's not EDC. Unless you have more comments, Todd.
At the risk of having you guys FOIA, no.
That's a good one, Todd. I appreciate that.
Um, then we're open to comments by commission members and
Oh,
uh, any items you want for the next agenda. Go ahead, Joe.
yeah, that concerned me about what Brian said about Redfin, and I found those 5 or 6 listings. They're all under contract.
Okay, good.
There was exactly 5 houses that went under contract in the past 5 days, and 1 closed today. So I don't count those because obviously
Good
but
turnover then.
that's where the 6 listings went.
I think the only old listing was the one on the island.
Oh yeah, and that's been for sale for quite a while. But the land on your street just went under contract today.
That's what I said. It was pending. It's under contract now. Is that same thing?
Yep,
Or?
yep. Went under. Yeah, there's like over 100 acres there.
No. That's about 20 or 30 acres and was approved for a subdivision last year in front of PZC.
Oh, is that Fran Morano's property?
Yep, yep. She put it on the market last fall. She was
Yeah.
never intending to, I don't think, use it for a relative as she had presented it in front of planning and zoning, and she has sold it now.
Yeah, it's. I'm sorry, it was $300,000.
300,000.
And it's 19 acres.
Correct.
Yep, just today it went under contract.
Okay, well, that clears that.
Yeah, it was only on the market for 6 days.
Wow.
Obviously, Brian, you'll have to put it on the agenda, needing another alternate.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I did want to go ahead.
just a question too, because I believe when I enrolled into the EDC, I was the second alternate. So what happens now?
Well, it doesn't matter first or second alternate. It just means there's 2.
Okay. But is there an official
So,
seat that's
so
open?
unless I'm mistaken, didn't Dan switch out with Santos?
They
full
never
member
did
to-
it.
Oh, they never did it. Okay. Because I was going to say, in that case, then you could advance Andrew to being a full member. Not
That's
that it
right.
matters. The only reason that there's alternates on this board and Mizrac is because sometimes it's tough to get a quorum when you have a large number.
Understood.
Because because you guys don't vote on applications, the alternates don't really get treated differently than the full members on Mizrac. So it's just a trick of math to make sure that you can have meetings with a smaller number if a smaller number shows up.
Yeah, if Brian Santos steps down to alternate, we can move Andrew up to a main member if that's what you want. Um, and then we would open it up to another alternate.
I'm definitely open to it. So if a seat does
Okay.
become available, I would absolutely consider that.
Okay. Then we would just, in that case, we'd be looking for 2 alternates and we'll put it out that way. So yeah, I'll check with Santos again. I did want to comment, 630 Riverside, we didn't have a meeting in October, and for anybody who doesn't know, Um, uh, Robert Letskis was really active. We had the presentation on October 1st, then we had the town vote on October 8th, and he was set up at Community Day with all of his renderings and kept pretty busy with people asking him and generating a real interest in town. Like I said, a lot went on in October, and we didn't meet to talk about it. So I just wanted to get that out there, that a lot went on toward that building. And even when Nick Donahue was on Winnie, somebody did call in and ask about the mill, and they weren't exactly sure which mill they were asking about. I think they meant the building, but he ended up updating on both, saying there really is something going on. Um, so it's good that someone asked, and it was broadcast on the radio. Other than that, do we have any more comments, or so we go on to next meeting, December 17th? And we can close it out if you're okay. I guess you're okay.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
All
Happy
right, well,
Thanksgiving, everyone who we might not see between now and then.
yeah, happy Thanksgiving, and we'll
Happy
close it out
Thanksgiving,
at
everybody.
7:42.
Happy
Awesome.
Thanksgiving, everyone.
Have a
Hey,
good
take care.
evening.
Everybody take care.
Bye now.